Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran, and in today's video, we'll be doing some smaller updates for this Tuesday reset. We got a couple of updates right now, nothing massively major that is going to be game-breaking, but there are a couple of cool things on the horizon as of this Tuesday reset. So, let's get into this update. In one of the better updates, Blizzard decided to add the ability for you to go back to Legion raid content and to be able to loot gear at a far better rate than what we have with the current personal loot system. With this change as of this Tuesday, when you step inside of some of the older Legion raids, maybe you want to do some transmog farming, maybe get some of the more unique pieces with the recolors on the mythic side of the content, especially since some of the Legion sets were really sick looking, and we also had tier sets for every single class. So a lot of unique looks, but you could also get pieces of gear where, let's say you could make a demon hunter look like a monk, or a rogue look like a demon hunter, or a paladin that straight up looks like a death knight. Blizzard made a change that when you enter inside of those pieces of content, the raids of Legion, every time you kill a boss, it will always spit you out 5 pieces of gear instead of the personal loot system that started in Battle for Azeroth. For whatever reason, Blizzard thought that they should continue the personal loot system even for some of the older content, which doesn't really make sense. A lot of people that do transmog farming, some may do it with friends or with pugs, especially if the content is somewhat challenging. But at least Mythic Eternal Nightmare wasn't super challenging for me. I was able to solo it fairly well. I did play a Demon Hunter, and that is one of my characters that is less geared than every other tune. He is in the ballpark of the 460, but I don't really try super hard on the essences or trinkets or any of the best in slot pieces, but Demon Hunters are, well, Demon Hunters. They have a lot of self-healing, great defensives, and long-term offensives, so your mileage will vary. But this is a good change for anybody who wants to go back and do some of the older content. And since the game will spit out 5 pieces of gear instead of the personal loot, you might want to bring a friend or two. Maybe a friend that doesn't really need leather pieces if you're a demon hunter or something, you know, like a plate class or a clothy. But this will allow people to be able to go back and farm some of their favorite sets, and I think this is a good thing. I wonder if this is something that might get more people excited about the old school loot systems. Back in the day, we had Master Looter, where a set amount of gear would drop from a boss, and the Master Looter would be able to distribute those pieces of gear based on their group. Because of some issues that people had with Master Looter going forward into future expansion of Battle for Azeroth, Master Looter was replaced with the current personal loot system. Master Looter would basically allow a boss to drop a set amount of gear, like 5, 6, or 7 pieces, I guess, depending on the group size as well, and maybe a leader would be able to distribute it. Or you can put it up to a roll, like an in-game roll where you could decide, like, hey, I want a piece, I hit need, I win the roll, I get it. While personal loot is nice when you're trying to get a piece of gear for yourself, for a group that's organized together, like a mythic guild that's trying to down mythic bosses, sometimes certain pieces should be allocated to other members so the group has a higher benefit rather than that one person. However, there was an argument before about personal loot so that, you know, say you don't have some tyrannical guild leader always taking your gear from you. But I don't think that really happens that often, or at least I've never really ever heard that happening on a regular basis. And I wonder if that's something that Blizzard might want to reconsider for the future expansion of Shadowlands. It's been a while since we got to play around with the Master Loot system, but maybe with just simple activities like transmog farming, more people will be behind the Master Looter system. Personalized loot is RNG on top of RNG. Do you get a piece? Yes or no? Is that piece going to be good for you? Well, let's randomize the roll. While in Master Looter, 5 random pieces will be dropped, and how you decide who gets what is really up to the group. If anything, I wonder if maybe the Blizzard will add for Shadowlands a feature to turn on Master Looter if the group decides to, like have a group vote, and if everybody in the group decides, the Master Looter will be enabled so guilds can better allocate the gear and progression towards specific players for the group's benefit rather than for solo player benefit. So maybe have an ability to do personalized loot in a pug where you're not in control of what gear you get and you don't want somebody deciding for you, but also maybe have the Master Looter available for those guilds that want it. In a smaller bit of news, Shadowlands still remains a mystery. Ever since about, as of recording this video, 5 days ago that we had yet another tease on an encrypted patch update for Shadowlands Alpha, which we know there's a Shadowlands Alpha, we just can't see into it. I think about now, or maybe even next week after this week, would be a good time to introduce something when it comes to Shadowlands, or at least that's kind of the gut feeling that I have. but I wish I had something to tell you about it. Well, all I can tell you is I have anticipation for Shadowlands, but also now a bit of anxiety is building up. If we are expecting for Shadowlands to come out around about the same time that the other expansions have come out, in the late August, maybe beginning of September, maybe early October, mid-September type of time, then we would hopefully start to see Shadowlands Alpha soon, because by the time we see the first Alpha, generally 6 months later, the expansion itself comes out. So Blizzard is delaying could mean that there could be a massive delay for Shadowlands as well. I guess time will tell, but I still hold out hope. If you're someone who's still leveling some new characters, right now is still the best time to do it. 100% extra experience that stacks together with heirlooms is the best time to do it. But also starting this week is going to be extra bonus for reputation gains as well. So if you're trying to get characters up and running for allied races to a level, let's say you're still trying to unlock the Kultirans or the Zandalari, or maybe some of the newer ones like the Mechanomes as well as the Volpera, this week is probably the best time to do it. So this is more just as a reminder. I overall have been taking any free time that I have while, let's say, a video like this one is rendering in the background, and just leveling the character, killing a couple mobs here and there, completed a few quests, and you can really get quite a lot of levels in a very little amount of time. Where I spend majority of my time on max level 120 characters or on my rogue, leveling a fresh new character is kind of fun. I want to do a lot of leveling, particularly when Shadowlands comes out, because I really want to check out the new questing revamps and leveling revamps with Shadowlands, because the idea of leveling through full 120 levels just doesn't sound like fun, especially when you will eventually run out of fun and exciting abilities to get every few levels. So I cannot wait for that, but this leveling boost has been quite popular. It's so great seeing so many people out in the world every time I log on, even in the middle of the night. Anyway, this week is the best time to get some of the reputation bonuses filled with if you are trying to level some brand new characters, especially those of the allied race variety. But anyway, that's going to be all the updates we have for today. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Let me know what are your thoughts, and I'll see all of you guys in another one.